Hello again. This is the video to help you kind of guide how all the chapters are set up, how to submit work, kind of how the process of doing your assignments and things will work for you. Obviously you're watching the video, which is great. The next section here, of course, is the assignments, directions, and chapter goals, marked required. I'd like you to look at those for each unit. They'll start out with the objectives, and say at the end of the chapter the student will be able to list out the goals and objectives for the unit, give them a number, that type of thing. And if you successfully complete all of the unit and the work, you should be able to attain all of those goals and objectives. The next section is the lecture points of emphasis. If you are in a face-to-face class, these are the things that we would be discussing. Kind of like a Cliff Note type version, again, kind of the main concepts that are covered in the chapter. This is not a substitution for reading the text. Text, of course, is going to fill in all of those little nuances, but these, again, are the kind of the key points, kind of help you study for an assessment, that type of thing. Last little icon here is the chapter assignments. Now the chapter assignments are going to be laid out very similarly for each of the chapters in the class. It'll start out with read the text. Of course, that's going to be number one on every single assignment. This LO would be learning objective 1-1 through 1-6. So you will meet those goals by reading the information in the content. Then we'll have an activity, and it'll vary by the content that we're studying. In this particular chapter, first one here, it says after visiting the store for at least 20 minutes, you'll go and do an observation. You'll write a report on how well the company met each of the components of a customer service environment. And if not, what can be done to make improvements. Again, we'll have those learning objectives, which ones are met by those activities, and they'll have a point value for the activity. Generally, if you do a good job and submit work worthy of a college class, you will get most of the points. Again, I don't have a word limit or a length on any of these assignments. You're in a college class, and I expect the work to reflect that. Of course, the next item, you're going to upload your feedback or report into the system, and we'll talk more about that in a few minutes. Complete a form post, and again the post will again reflect the content that we're studying. I also ask students when we look at that some certain things, and we'll talk more when we actually open that up, and then of course there'll be an assessment. So let's go take a look at again how these are set up. Just below that we have an optional section. These are going to be some YouTubes that I've gone through and found to highlight the topic that we're studying for the week. They're optional because they are not graded or assessed in any way. They're just going to be some additional information to help you with the content. You'll also see here a PowerPoint, and the PowerPoint is going to be viewed as highly recommended. Up in the top section, we highlighted where there was a download. If you do not have the ability to have a PowerPoint with your particular system, there is a free downloadable version that's available to you. These are very well done. They're supplied by the author and again cover the key points of the unit. Then each week you will have a form. And the form, when you click on that, it kind of comes in two parts. And I ask students be a courteous classmate. Part of your requirements, you will make an initial post, and then you will reply to the post of another student. I ask in classes that you make your initial post by, say, early in the week, Monday, Tuesday. And then that allows, by maybe Thursday, Friday, when you come back in, that there are posts to be able to reply to. If everybody waits until Thursday, Friday, Saturday in order to make their postings for the week, there's nothing for your fellow classmates to reply to. So again, I ask you be a courteous classmate, make your initial post early in the week so your fellow students have things to reply to. And to activate a post, you just simply go down here to the corner. It says add new discussion topic. You would click on that. and you would write in your title for the week 1. It's an introductory post, and then go ahead and make your posting and introduce yourself so we can get to know you as a classmate. And then down the bottom, you just say post to form. Goes in. So that's pretty simple and straightforward. On the reply, you'll be able to just simply click on the posting and then hit reply. It's one of the choices, and you can reply to their post. And you'll have a post for each week. Then we have an assessment. And this says download. It's required, so you'll go ahead here and you'll click on the Chapter 1 test. To access these, you just simply click on the chapter test. Go ahead and click on that. It'll upload. Take just a second here. Now the first thing you'll need to do right up here, it says editable. So go ahead and click that. So then you can work on it. You can write on it. That type of thing. So you want to click that editable option to be able to do that. Then the second thing you want to do is click this home button. When you click the home button, you get your kind of toolbar drop down. So to answer the test, you would go through and of course work on the questions. And then you go over here, right here to the second button that says text highlight color. Right here on the down arrow, you can select a color. Usually yellow, green, blue work really well. I like green. And notice that my mouse now has changed to the marking pen. And so if this is the answer that you would like to mark, all you do is kind of click on it and it highlights the answer in a color. Same thing here. You would just simply kind of go down, highlight your color. Some students like to also put it over here. These are probably not the correct answers. I'm just simply answering those for demonstration purposes. But again, you would go through the assessment then and highlight the area. Again, you would get the color, would come in there, you select, and this is how I would like you to respond to answering the questions. When you're done with that, you would go back up here to the File button, File, Save As, and then decide where you would like to put it into your file structure. Whether you want to save it to your desktop, create a folder, save it to the hard drive, which desktop is hard drive also too, but you're saving it in a way that makes sense for you. Okay? Then once you do that, I'm not going to save this, you would go down here and upload it. A couple of ways to do that. So you're going to go ahead and click on this. Okay? And you would click on Add Submission. So you're going to go ahead and click on that button because you're going to submit the test to me, upload it. A couple of ways to do it. One, it says here you can drag and drop the files here to add them. I like this version really well. And so up here in the top corner, which you probably can't see, right next to the close, there usually has that double kind of window box. You can kind of click on that, and it allows you to have a little bit more of your backdrop. Show up the desktop a little bit. And then you can have your assessment right here, ready to test. All you have to do then is simply drag and drop it into the box, and it uploads. Slick as a doodle. Okay, so just simply whatever's over here on your desktop, drag it and drop it in. There is a second way to do that. And again, we would go back here to Add Submission. And make this bigger again. And then it's right up here. It says Add. So we're in this top corner, File Submission, Add. And you get a box like this. You're choosing the file. You're going to, where you saved it, whether it's on your desktop or in a folder. Again, wherever it is on your hard drive. So you would select the Choose File option. Okay, so again, if it's on your desktop, it's in the Files to Upload, wherever that is, you would just simply select it, hit Open, and it'll put it right in there. So just simply locate it where it is, and then click Upload this file, and it brings it in. Okay, so there's two options. Let me backtrack out here. There we we go. And you would do the same thing for all of your activities for the week too. Observation upload, again, same operation. You would get a box to upload. There we go. It's spinning and working, so it's the same thing. Add a submission both ways. Okay? All the units are going to be set up basically exactly the same. They'll have some sort of an assessment. You may have a project. Not all weeks have projects, most do, but you will for sure have an assessment that you need to upload. If you have questions, I would review the video again. So if you say, now how did he upload those things? I would just simply watch this video again to see how that all works. Good luck, have fun, and I look forward to getting to know you in this class.